Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 in the 1% Club. My friends, it's nice and warm and toasty inside the car. It is cold, but it's going to get a little warmer. It's getting a little warmer. It's in the Midwest here. It's like 1 degree or something, or -1 or something. Been a little cold the last couple days. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the 1% Club, my friends. This is Vigor Warriors 2, and we are talking about self-control, stoicism, semen retention, all those type of things to make you the best person you can become. And even though we do have females in the audience, and I appreciate ladies very much, this is a male type of station to talk about because males have the biggest problem with this, and I'm kind of focusing on helping in that. So, some shout-outs here before we actually start. Let's go ahead. We usually just go ahead and shout out people who make comments, who take the time to you know, talk and send their ideas, and whether it's good or bad, that's irrelevant to me. The fact that you're making the effort is something I appreciate. IIIFrenchIII, looking thin. Thank you, my friend. I'm trying the best that I can, and hopefully give you guys some ideas of things that you might want to use and try yourself. We'll talk about exercise a little bit today. TKO. Yisrael Yehuddah, thank you, my friend. Player, thank you. Jose, thank you. John the Dawn. God's gladiatory. Misocveticanin. Darkless. James Langford. 3 of those. Thank you, my friend. Dirtymint. Hard Moan King. Nelsonpere and Stuart Wagner, and TKO again. So thank you guys for your comments. Greatly appreciate it. So at the 2-minute mark, let's talk about a comment from Jonathan, who was talking about the idea of exercise and semen retention. So let's talk about that. So again, let's take a step back. A lot of the stuff that started with me focused on back when I was like in my late 30s, something like that. And the doctors had said to me, because of the football injuries I had back in high school and college, that I needed to do something to take care of myself, or I wasn't going to live very long. And I had hypertension, all kinds of things like that. So I was searching, I was looking for the kind of the fountain of youth, as it is, and longevity type of thing to see where I could do to get better as a human being and better as a man. And so luckily, we had moved to a town in the Midwest here, and there was a Goodwill, and so we had gone in there because I always like to kind of shop and look see if I can find things that, you know, usually don't find in places. And so we found this book called The Fountain of Youth, and it was Kelder's Fountain of Youth, and I'd highly recommend it, as I always do, that you use to kind of look at a guide. And the book itself talked about the monks in Tibet tribes up in Tibet, and it's back in the 1950s, before the Chinese kind of ransacked the whole area. They were talking about how they look so young. And this person who was looking for the Fountain of Youth thought it was some kind of pill or something like that, or some sort of magical type of thing. And so what he did was he spent some time, he found them, he found the monks and the priests, and he basically went ahead and kind of went through all the process. And what he found was several exercises that really kind of use it. The exercises were those exercises that kind of move the chakras. And he talked about chakras in the middle. And so I didn't really necessarily believe that, because I was from more of a Catholic upbringing, and so I didn't really kind of think about chakras and energy levels and things like that. And so as I thought about it more, I said, okay, I'm going to try these exercises. I had nothing to lose back then. I was in my 30s, and I was being stressed out. I had family, kids, work, all kinds of stuff like that back at that point in time. And so I actually kind of started doing those exercises. And there's 5 exercises there, and we've shown them before. If you go back and look at some videos, we've actually demonstrated some of them. And I may do that again if people want me to. But those 5 I do every day, and I just finished doing those a few minutes ago. And so I focused on those 5, and so because I focused on those 5, I ended up getting very good results. I got good results for a while, since 1998, something like that, when this happened. And so I've actually gotten better, stronger. There's been times where it's been off and on. I haven't really kind of stayed with it as much as I should have, But I kept knowing in the back of my mind, this is what I should be doing. And so then when COVID hit a few years ago, I said, okay, I need to step to another level. This is not getting me exactly where I wanted to go. And so I said to myself, okay, let's go back and look at that book for a second. And so the sixth rite, I always in the back of my mind, I never tried, but Keller says in his book, if you want to become a superhuman and you want to become super powerful, the sixth rite is the key. And the sixth rite was actually transmuting energy when you get sexual thoughts and arousal. Instead of releasing your energy, you're going to go ahead and you are transmuting that energy back into your system instead of losing it. And so that was something hard. But even in the book, Keller says, if you got to change your whole lifestyle. You can't go ahead and just have sex every night of the week. You can't be releasing the pictures all the time, things like that, if you're going to follow this type of lifestyle. And that's why that I didn't stay. I stayed away from him a long time because I was a married man. I said, well, I can't do that, right? But what you find out you can do is basically still release. You can have, you can have intimacy if you want to. But the key is that your lifestyle is changing. All of a sudden, now you're holding your energy in. And so that got me into a whole new realm. And so that's why I've had, no FAP and, not releasing for 1,200 days plus or something like that. And I've lost count. I have count, but I don't really talk about it or bring it up anymore because it's a lifestyle change. And I think that's the key thing. So as you look at this, you're looking at exercises that's impacting your retention. So now as you retain, you're trying to do things to actually kind of get that energy transmuted through the rest of your body, so it's going to help your other body parts grow. And so no matter how old you are, you could be 20, 30, 40, 50, or 63 like myself, 62, moving on 63, you're going to get help by this. And it's going to make you stronger. I've been trying to get a six-pack from my whole life, and I've gotten closer now at this point in time than I've ever been. I lost 60-some pounds. I'm around 200 pounds now. When I started all this a few years back, it was 260, and I was just feeling terrible, overweight, all kinds of other issues, and I feel 100% better now. But I also, along with the retention and the Fountain of Youth exercises, I started doing other types of exercises, and obviously cold showers. And we did have a comment, and I'll talk about this in a separate one, but there was a comment that was asked to me, and I don't remember the person. I have it on my list here. But the comment was talking about whether or not you should take cold showers before or after doing the Keller's 5 rites, the Fountain of Youth 5 rites that we're talking about. Well, the book talks about the fact, Keller's book talks about the fact that you should only do them, you should do it after the cold shower, and that's what I do. The cold shower will negate, because of the cold and your body is all of a sudden starting to freeze up and things like that. And I'm looking for the word here, but you're kind of negating the effects of the Fountain of Youth stuff. So that's why I don't do it. I won't do it. I'll do it before I actually do the Fountain of Youth stuff. Now, in those days that I'm exercises, I can do other exercises. But the Fountain of Youth exercises, I don't do until after I take a cold shower, because you're going to negate a lot of those type of things. So I agree with the book on that. They're not going to have the greatest effect on you unless you're doing it away from the cold showers. Take your cold shower in the morning if you're going to do it, and then all of a sudden you can go ahead and kind of do the exercises after that. So going back to the exercises again, when you're looking at the exercises, you're looking now at trying then to build on that. And so remembering, as you have more energy and your energy now is going back and helping you, now you're looking at trying to build your muscles back with exercising. And so that's why the key is then putting together an exercise type of regimen that you can actually help you build your muscle back. And it doesn't matter if you're my age is 62, you can still build muscle. Now, I'm not doing the same kind of muscle and same kind of lifting that I would do when I was in college playing football, when you're trying to kind of build for mass, you know, and trying to have weight and mass and have strength, and strength. You're building for strength. So I do a lot of repetition. So I would say that as you do these exercises, the other thing I start doing is I do some isometric kind of stretching, and I also do the weight lifting, and then I also do, you know, I got benching with that, and, you know, and so all these type of exercises, and along with then the treadmill I have and a bike. So a lot of those things, and plus I'm walking all day long. So let's kind of go back a little bit, and sounding a little disorganized here, but as we talk about this, let's kind of think about something that we're focusing on. So we talk about exercise. Let's talk about when I do the 5 rights plus the 6th one if you have sexual thoughts. Now you're focusing then on looking at some kind of stretching. So I do several types of stretching exercises, you know, twirling back and forth with my, you know, my hands, touching my hands to my toes, you know, trying to stretch the back out, things like that. I have a ball where I lay on the ball and stretch the back out. And so those type of things I do as a stretching type of thing to kind of loosen your muscles up. Then what I do is I will go with weightlifting. So you could do the curls, you could do overhead press, you can go ahead and do your arms up and down and lateral press, thing like that. And then I do bench presses. And so those type of things, but I do repetition now. I do high repetition because I'm trying to build the muscle. I'm not trying to go ahead and look for the mass. And that's the key. And then certainly after that, then I'll go down and work on the treadmill a little bit. And, you know, I try to get about 30 minutes on a treadmill, maybe 45 minutes, but I do it at a 12 incline. That seems to get the most benefit. Now my speed is only 3 or 4 at times, maybe less, you know, maybe less than that, 1 and 2. But I like going uphill. Going uphill seems to be the best way to get definition within my body, and so I focus on that a lot. And bike riding, the same thing for half an hour. And I alternate days on bike riding and treadmill depending on how much time I have. Right now, it's been pretty hectic trying to get the cars started and all kinds of stuff in the Midwest and all kinds of problems at warriors, families' houses, and things like that. But you try to do what you can and kind of get back into the rhythm of things. So I also tried then one of the things, and I can't think of the guy's name, but I watched videos. He did a great job of losing a lot of weight and became shredded when he was walking at least 10 to 20,000 steps a day. So that's what I'm trying to do as well. Most days I'll get to be 25 or 30,000, walking with the dogs, walking, you know, school, things like that. But then other days, maybe those days I'll get between 10 to 15, something like that. I try to do 10 at the minimum, but most days I'll get over 15 or close to 20 if I can. And a lot of that's because as you're walking again, especially if you're going to find areas going uphill and downhill, no different than a treadmill with the incline, you're basically trying to get as much, you know, motion with your hands and everything as you can as you go through. So that exercise is important. And then certainly the bike is important as well because you want to keep moving and things like that. So the key thing is to stay active. You know, no matter what age you are, staying active builds a good habit. Whether you're exercising, you like sports, whether you just like walking around. Walking is the best exercise, I think, in the world. A lot of people don't do enough of it. They, unfortunately, in our society, like to kind of sit around and you know, eat fast food and stay, you know, sit in a car or sit behind a desk. And then they end up becoming like those people on the Willy Wonka movie where they sat there and they didn't move for like 9 years and they couldn't move because they had atrophy in their bones and their muscles couldn't move, and you don't want to be like that. And so the fallacy we have, another one of these fallacies in this matrix that we're talking about, is that the fallacy is as you get older, they always tell you do less and you know be more careful. And, you know, to some extent, I understand what they're saying, but at a bigger extent, it's false. The idea is that you have to continue to use your muscles. If you don't use them, then they become the law of disuse, which means that they go bad. And you got to keep using muscles no matter what. So I do squats, I do all kinds of stuff to work the legs, a lot of stomach, you know, hanging, you know, types of sit-ups and, you know, all kinds of different things that you can do to build your stomach up and then also your chest, bench pressing, and curls for the arms, things like that. All those kind of things help you when it comes to building each muscle. And that's what you got to continue doing. But stay active. I also do face exercises. It may sound kind of crazy, but I do a lot of face exercises. You know, you're using face exercises where you're stretching your mouth and doing all kinds of crazy stuff with your mouth. There's a guy I used to call Jack LaLanne that did this a long time ago, and focusing on trying to get your mouth actually as part of your muscles and things like that too. So I do a lot of those type of things too. So all those type of things are important when you're focusing on looking at, you know, information that's going to help you build muscles. Every part of your body is building muscle. And so as you focus on that, it's important to kind of look and see, okay, how can I maximize every part of the muscles I'm doing? So as we look at this again, the whole key, warriors, is to realize that semen retention is important, but the idea that you want to focus on is using that as a building block to go ahead and say, okay, as we focus more on other things, what are the things that can get me self-control, kind of build me up? And we talked about, now we're talking about from a physical standpoint, obviously the spiritual, the intellectual we've talked about before, and we talked about this with religion. But the idea is that from a physical standpoint, you want to do all those things you can to build your exercise to the point where you're focusing on building muscle and becoming the best person you can become. And as you do this, you'll be able to kind of say, okay, I can put in a regimen of, you know, exercise where I'm weightlifting, I'm building some muscle, I'm working my legs, I'm working my arms, I'm working these type of things. And these things are important because what you'll end up doing then is building a habit. And when you build a habit, you start building character, you start building ideas of trying to figure out what is important for me to look at, the best possible way for me to you know, build myself up. Now, along with this, you're focusing as well on trying to get background behind this. So what I'm talking about with this is you're going to look at your exercise, your meals, your protein, all these things you're going to add to the exercise as you do it. And so as a combination of those things, you're looking at both. You're looking at not only going to go ahead and focusing on exercise, but then you're going to add food to it. You're going to add all the types of things to it to be able to kind of enhance that. And so that's why we talk about this idea of having a holistic type approach. Obviously, when I went into semen retention and I'm focusing on this, then I'm looking at then also adding other things to retention. And that's why we talk about the nutritional things as well. So you want to have a good balanced diet, and things are going to help you when it comes to exercising as well. But the idea that you really want to kind of focus on is really looking at not only getting the exercise, but building to it. So you're focusing then on getting a lot more out of it as well. So guys, I think that's important. So the key is, again, looking at exercising and focusing on how important that is in the long run. So, all right, my friends. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Always a pleasure to talk with you guys too. But always make the key is that you're focusing on trying to make sure that you get a combination of exercise, and you're trying to get a combination of, you know, self-control, stoicism, things like that, to be able to kind of help you through that type of thing. And that's important to kind of focus on. So as we look at this, the key thing is, again, putting yourself some goals together. We talk about goals. We talk about how important goals are. We're talking about how important it is to have some kind of purpose. So as you look at this, as you look at the idea of thinking about semen retention, thinking about trying to focus on, you know, ideas that are going to make you better. Think to yourself, okay, what kind of exercises can I do to build myself up? What kind of spiritual things can I do to build myself up? What kind of intellectual things can I do to build myself up? All those things become things that become your goals now. Whether you're trying to get a six-pack of abs, whether you're trying to do 300 sit-ups, whether you're trying to do push-ups, things like that, you want to kind of focus on making sure that as you set these things in line, that you're having a goal. There's something you want to do, and that's a key, because as you focus on motivation, you'll be more motivated if you have some kind of goals set up, and if you have something that you can do on a continual basis. And so that's why we talk about this. It's important to understand that goals are your key. You want to focus on goals. You want to go ahead and say, okay, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to look like. And part of this we haven't talked about, and I'm going a little bit longer on this one, but it's because exercise is important. You want to visualize what you want to look like. You want to look and visualize as you see this, what is it do I want to kind of focus on, look at? And I want to kind of see and focus on what is it do I want to look like? What is the overall goal? What is the idea? What do I want to look like as a person? And that's kind of what you're going to do as a model, and that's something that's going to motivate you as you go along. All right, my friends. Well, I hope this one helped a lot. I like talking about it because you want to have a balance. You want to have a balance of things in your life, and you want to have a balance of exercise and physical things that actually add to it as you go along, and not only just have retention, but that's a basis, but everything else comes along with it. So exercise is very crucial, and it relates obviously a lot to this semen retention. You want to use all that energy you're keeping and use it to good purposes and build those muscles as you go along. All right, my friends. Now, 2 things I always leave you with. Once again, every day is a new day to a great warrior, and the idea is that today is another great day. I don't care where you're at. You might be freezing to death. You might be 60, 70 degrees, 90, 100 degrees, wherever you're living at. Have a great day. Always remember, keep on purpose and do things. And then secondly, always remember, this is a battle. For those who are always new to the channel, you know, I always scream and yell at the beginning and at the end of these things. And partly is because we have to realize and kind of shake ourselves into the idea that this is a battle every day. We may not see it. We may not actually be fighting it physically, but every day is a battle against the wise person, with the wise person against the evil person. And the evil spirit, in my mind, is Satan. The evil one, I call. That is a spirit we're fighting. And we got to continue our minds. Always remember that. And always remember that, as I scream all the time, we need to continue to battle!